Welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda and today I'm playing with a whole bunch of things. So first off, I'm playing with the Counterfeit Christmas Bingo Challenge, and there's the bingo. And I'm also using the Stick It Down sketch for the 12 by 12 for December, and that's sketch. And I'm also doing the Reindeer Games, and today is Follow the Leader, Jingle All the Way. And the prompt is to create a layout using bells, sparkles, ribbon, and a lyric. And oh, it's such a cute graphic. Make sure you read it in Shannon's Facebook group because it is super cute. So I am scrapbooking. There's the sketch again. A picture of myself when my husband and I first moved in together, and this is our first Christmas tree. And we actually still have this tree. It's not the one we typically put up anymore because I got a much bigger one that makes me super happy. But we still have this one, and there's actually not anything wrong with it. I just wanted a really big Christmas tree, and it was always something that I wanted. So a few years back, that's what my husband got me for Christmas and my birthday, because my birthday is in February. I'm just showing you some of the papers that I pulled out. This is from Carta Bella and Happy Christmas, and that one is 'Twas the Night Before Christmas Part 2, and I'm just going to use the Happy Christmas. I got this in a kit, so I have breads and all sorts of stuff. But I love that flower paper. And then I'm going to pull out some stuff from the 6x6. And one of the things that I wanted to do was try on the bingo was a raw set. So I am going to make one, and I'm going to cut a lot of that process out because it took me an hour to do one of them. I don't understand why it took me so long to do the one, but it totally did. So I am going to use white as my background. I thought I was going to use a piece of pattern paper, but I thought I would be too busy. So, and then just picking out, these are a nesting die from Hip Kit Club, and the circles, and they have a stitched around the border. And then I am going to try and do my raw set. So I'm going to cut this snowflake black paper in half, so it's about, it's not quite 3 inches wide, I think. And I was going to use my score pal, and I have one that doesn't have very many score lines in it, and I did not want them to be as tall as it was going to be, so I used my Stampin' Up cutting trimmer because it has a score as well, and I scored it at every ½ centimeter. So then this makes it ½ centimeter tall, and then you fold all of those up and down, which took me a long time because there's a lot of them. And I was trying to get it together in a bunch of different ways, and it wasn't quite working the way I wanted. So I did use some glue and punched out another piece of the black. And this is going to get hidden anyway, so I could have used just scrap, but I wasn't positive that that's how it was going to go. So the glue is not holding, so I'm going to use some double-sided tape and glue and get this on. But it's fussy. You need like 6 hands to do these. It's actually easier too when you do a whole raw set and you put the end to end together, because then they just actually sit nicely. But this wasn't, it was too wide and not long enough to do it all the way for how big I wanted it. I would have needed 2/3 more, it looks like, from what's there to make it work. So this works. And now it's secured and we're good. And I'm going to pull out my big kick, and I'm going to cut myself some papers. So this layout took me 2 hours to do. It really shouldn't have taken me 2 hours to do, but it totally did. And most of it was that raw set. And then using my die cut machine, because this takes time for each of these circle pieces. And then there's lots of looking for things that I cut out for you, because you really don't need to watch me look for, where did I put that? So like, I misplaced one of these dies, and then I couldn't find my double-sided tape for my phone tape, my thicker one. It was a thing today. So, or the day I did this anyway, because it wasn't today, but. And I'm going to cut some little ones out of the flower instead of the big ones, because I cut the big one out of the red, and a few of those. And that is a little off the screen, but I wanted to see my layout too as I was throwing them down. So, and for the sketch, they're in 3 different spots. The photos, it has 3 photos in the sketch. I'm going to replace those with circles, and my photo is going to stay rectangular. I thought about making it a circle, and then I couldn't find the die that would have worked the best for that. And then, excuse me, I realized it wasn't going to work the best anyway. So, and then my first inkling was to make all 3 of the black rosettes on the layout, but I'm just going to do the one. I think the one adds enough dimension and texture, and yeah, and time was a factor. Then I pulled out this one, and I'm going to use these cut aparts. I'm going to do the circles around, because look how cute that's going to be. And then on the back side's a wood grain, so I'm going to cut some more circles out of the wood grain, because neither one of those would work, but look at how cute that is. And I decided I needed another pattern anyway, so cute. And I decided that'll be probably good. I'm not going to use a whole whatchamacallit, so you get to see me drink a lot of water today too. And then that's where I cut out a whole bunch of, where did my foam tape go? And I'm going to use just this, I think it was packaging for something. And I keep that kind of stuff because, yeah, and now I'm looking for ink, because I decided instead of doing that, I'm going to do the packaging technique splatter stuff that's on the middle of the sketch. And so I think this is bundled sage, whatever the sage one is, and a little bit of water. And it's in an oxide, so like adding the water to it does change the color of it a little bit, but it also gives a little bit of dimension when it dries, because it dries in different shades. So there's like some more yellow green, there's more of the sagey green. It's just, I like it. So they are the inks that I've been choosing to use lots of lately. So, and then that's gonna go on. I wanted it to go over top, which meant that I needed, like, my little square dots weren't going to work as well, because they're not as thick as what I made the rosette. And I could have made this not as high, but a 0.5 centimeter I think is my tolerance level, because each one of those needs to be bent, and depending on the paper. So this Cartabella paper was the thick textured that comes in the 12 by 12, and I probably wouldn't use it again to make a rosette because it was a little time consuming. Thinner paper folds a little bit faster, just because there's less fibers to make stressed. So then this Merry Christmas is going to go down here and over top of the center. And that one stuck pretty good. I was going to move it just a little bit, but that's okay. And then my bells, which is one of the things for the Reindeer Games, are going to go, one's going to go there-ish. And I do not have Sparkles, Ribbon, or Lyric on here yet. So we're still getting there. So for the kit club, this can be holiday for my bingo. It also is going to be Rick Rack, because I'm going to use the green Rick Rack ribbon. And I think that's it for what I decided to use anyway. And then I decided just to trim this down a little bit. That's where I couldn't find all of the dies. And I'm like, we'll use scraps up. So I'm gonna layer this with papers in all sorts of different ways just to get a little bit of each that I've used, because why not? So just being strategic on where that will be. And then this one. And I am going to cut way back here so that I'm saving a little bit of that. I don't know what I will do with it. It's scraps, but did I need to? Not really, but eh. And then because I want this to go over top of the rosette there, I'm going to put it on the same foam. And I make a mistake here. Normally I would have just cut those and put them on the foam and spent the time, but I didn't. And you'll see what I do here in a minute. I bet you can guess what I do. That's okay. I'm going to get some of the circles on so I can get this situated properly, because I've decided I am definitely changing the sketch a little bit. So this Happy Holidays has the same red and it has the outline of those flowers. So it's going to go up in this corner. And then I'm going to put my double-sided tape on these ones. Yep. Doop, doop. And then I'm going to push down where there's no foam in a second here. And because I put that big piece of adhesive there, it sticks. Look, it's stuck. I don't want a divot in there, so I'm gonna pull it off really quick and sneak another piece in. And you won't, like, it looks like there's some damage to the photo as you're looking at it now, but it does relax overnight and there's not the same dent in it anymore. So, which is good because this was a film picture and I don't know where those nags are. So all the things. So getting some more of these on. We're almost there. It was a long layout to do, but I really like how it turned out. It's fun and the circles kind of remind me of Christmas ornaments, and one of the things I had thought about doing was adding ribbon to each of these balls and make them Christmas ornaments, but I petered out. That's a good one. I petered out. That's all that's needed. So I will get ribbon on here, but not in the same way as I thought I was going to. And then this top one's going to have a few more circles than the rest of them, but that's okay. I thought it was fun. And now I'm going to use this green sparkly rickrack. So it's going to be ribbon and sparkle to start with. I am going to add some other sparkle here too, but it's harder to see on screen. But that has some really fun sparkle in it. And I thought the green would tie in with the green in the flowers, and that's why I chose the green on the background for the packaging ink, was because I knew I had this and I wanted it to tie into the flower paper. So it's going in each of these 3 wood veneer bells. So I got my bells, I've got my ribbon, I have my sparkle, I still need my lyric, but I'll get there. So yay. And then I'm double checking. What do I need? Oh yeah, okay. Lyrics. So I'm looking, I know there's a fa la 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 on here for a word sticker, and I'm going to look for other word stickers. So I was like, oh, the tree might be fun, but not right now. So that one says fa la 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 la. And then the next one I pull out says holly jolly. And I'm not going to sing you the songs, but every time I say it, it's in my head. And then I see in some of these around things, and I'm going to use them kind of like enamel dots and sprinkle them around the clusters, because they're cute. So they each get like a green one and a red one with a flower and Some of them get a green, well, they all get a green snowflake. They almost all get a red flower on red, or they get a red flower on black, and then they get a red snowflake. And this is Other Sparkle, so that is my Winkostella clear glitter pen, and so all of those bells now have sparkle to them too, which you can't see in person, or you can see in person, you can't see online very well. Oh, words can be okay. And then just getting those on, fraying that end a little bit, and then I didn't want this hanging out of the page protector, and then I'm like, what do I do with this? So it's gonna bend around the bells, and I actually kind of like how that looks now. I wasn't quite entirely sure about it, but I think it looks pretty good. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of journaling, and it's the tiniest bit, and it says, our first Christmas tree living in Red Deer. It was our first Christmas tree while living in Red Deer, but whatever. This is the first place we lived together. It was a little apartment in Red Deer while I was going to school. I was pretty excited about the tree. We got it at Canadian Tire, and it was like not very much money for what we were. Like, it was probably the cheapest one there, and man did it last. So yay. And some Sprinkle Sparkle, because those have some glitter in them, and that one's the Tim Holtz one. And that's a wrap on this page. So all of the people that I'm playing along with today will be linked in the description box below, with Facebook and playlists and all that kind of stuff. If you liked my layout today, I would really appreciate the thumbs up. If you are not a subscriber, I hope I did enough for you to consider subscribing. And I always answer my comments, so I would love it if you commented below. And some close-ups, last one. I'm so young there. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate you being here. Here are some other videos that you might be interested in. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.